Welcome back to another episode of Player Profiler News PrimeTime. I'm your host, Jake. You can follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you so call it, at LewyLewis5. That's LEWIS and the number 5. It's also right there on the screen for you. But thanks for tuning in to today's show, where I'll be talking about news coming from around the league, and I'm going to give you a strategy to try to use in your best ball drafts. Also, check us out throughout the whole week here at Player Profiler, and you're doing a good job watching Player Profiler now. Plus, make sure you subscribe and let a friend know. It greatly helps us, helps the channel, and lets us grow and makes us know that you want more. So with that, without further ado, let's get fantasy. Okay, so the news last week, I broke down the Jonnu Smith traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I came up with some candidates that I thought Michael Mayer or Luke Musgrave potential for Miami. I pre-recorded it, and on Tuesday, lo and behold, the Miami Dolphins trade for retired Darren Waller from the New York Giants. He can hopefully come over, since he hasn't played since 2023 with the Giants, where he only had a couple games that he played and showed up before injury. He is currently age 32. Does he have enough left in the tank is the biggest question. It's left to be seen, but he could potentially take over the Jonnu Smith role that was voided in Miami. Or he might just be another overhyped name, but he is blowing up draft boards. I know he's blowing up. If you look at Sleeper, he's probably the number one trending player currently. And it's not even a question of how many times he probably got picked up this past week. And you know what? In Dynasty, it's worth a shot to stash him. Why would you not? Jonnu Smith gave us a tight end 4 finish last season, and his best season before that was tight end 16. That's just amazing for a player that averaged basically tight end 33 throughout his whole career, finish as tight end 4 last season in a Miami uniform. Now this season, 13 is most I'm going to put him at. He's not going to be a tight end 1 at Pittsburgh, but maybe we see Darren Waller come finally back into a tight end 1. He's only had 2 in his whole career, but not playing for 2 years and coming back to a system where I could see him actually being successful. Also, check out his new song, Top Play. It's badass. I play it when I'm at the gym and all that, but congratulations, Darren Waller. You are back in the NFL. Hopefully you're here to stay for a couple seasons. Next news, Cam Ward has been putting in the work this offseason. He has been training in Miami prior to the start of training camp coming up. And you could just see mentally, he is far above all these other rookies. That is probably why he was drafted first overall. And if you look, there's videos surfaced before of him and Shedeur Sanders working out together. And Cam Ward was all about working out, not wanting to do the TikTok dances or any of that other whatever Shedeur wants to do, his hand, his watch, whatever. But you can see he's focused. He wants to be determined and be a good NFL quarterback. hopefully for years to come. And in all honesty, if I could redraft my Dynasty League rookie draft, I'd probably take him third overall, probably in a super flex, behind obviously Ashton Jeanty and Omarion Hampton. But he gives you that rushing upside. So if you have not done your rookie drafts, which I'd say 95% of us already have, look into it. I mean, he's mentally he is there. Physically, he's got the gifts of different types of throws you could make throughout his arsenal. Just look at it. Next one is door is still open for the Bills to work out a deal with James Cook before the 2025 season. For fantasy, I do believe he will have a little regression just because he scored 16 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving. That's 18 touchdowns. That accounted for over 38% of all of his fantasy points. And he's currently being drafted as RB15. Actually, at RB15, he might be a huge value just because I think this contract actually pushes his value down. He has potential of finishing as a running back 1, not 1 overall, but a top 12 running back. So I could see being tight or running back 15 actually better than I anticipated, but do not be shocked with his regression from last season, though, just because of the touchdown regression. I don't see him rushing for 16 touchdowns again this year, because if he does, he's going to get some bag, and Bills don't want to pay him what he wants, $15-16 million a year. It's going to be kind of a Delvin Cook type situation, his brother. Next news, is there still a comeback for once viewed as a top dynasty wide receiver, Chase Claypool? He says he is fully recovered and back to health. Full strength and speed is high as it's ever been after rehabbing a torn ligament and tendon in his toe. I think his fantasy relevance is in the past. I know I was reading recently last year when he was on the Bills in training camp, he was making plays after plays after plays, but we've seen and we've heard that before other players. He hasn't played a game since 2023 after being out for 2 years now and a whole year of recovering from a toe injury. I think his fantasy relevance is kind of dust, if you ask me. He just also has to find a team to jump on as well. Next, Browns quarterback Joe Flacco is being reported that he has Myles Garrett and other vets who want him to be the week 1 starter. If this is true, Myles Garrett should have kind of insight due to his historic contract that he just signed this offseason with the Browns. And I'm assuming they probably pulled him aside like, hey, we want your input because we have 50 million quarterbacks over here and we don't know what to do. And if you have other veterans jumping up saying we want Flacco to be our starter, you probably should listen to them. I understand Kenny Pickett, maybe he does the Sam Darnold role and he sat behind everyone and learned. Now he's a quarterback. I don't think so, but the Browns should be playing the best quarterback, and I'm guessing Joe Flacco is going to be that guy. I also feel like he gives the team the best odds of winning. And if he is playing and starting, give me David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy stock all day. I would love it. David Njoku currently being drafted as tight end 8 in the 6th round. Knock, knock, incoming. Tight end 5 again. Hello. My name is David Njoku, back-to-back years already, tight end 5. Make it another one, 3-peat. Jerry Jeudy is currently being drafted as wide receiver 37. He just had a top 12 finish. He was just tight end 1 or running wide receiver 1. And he's being drafted in the 6th round as well. I think if he's going to have Joe Flacco as his quarterback, he's going to blow these numbers out of the water. He's going to have a top 15 top 24 finish, I think, at least. But another dark horse guy in the sleeper, Cedric Tillman, could come out of the woodworks and give you wide receiver 2 type numbers, just like he was when healthy last season until he suffered the concussions. Currently, he's being drafted as wide receiver 61 in the 12th round. If Joe Flacco is being reported as a starter, and especially for redrafts, we're going to kind of learn more and more. A lot of redrafts don't start until the weekend of the new year. Just pay attention. Listen, follow us here at Player Profiler. I mean, we're here to help you guys. And if he's being drafted in the 12th round, that's ridiculous. If Joe Flacco is your quarterback, give me all 3 of these. And especially in best ball now. Best ball might be an option. I mean, like a backdoor stack, you could probably draft Joe Flacco last round in majority of these best ball leagues. Next, Kayvon Turpin arrested. Cowboys special teamer. He is arrested this past weekend on illegal marijuana and gun charges. He's nothing much more than a special teamer. He can probably get into the slot or wire 3 in wide receiver or 3 wide receiver sets for this team. But he's just signed like the highest paid deal for special teamers. 3 years, $18 million this offseason. I don't know what the fine print says, but maybe they'd be able to get out. I don't know, and we're going to listen and find out what his punishment is. I think it's more on the gun charges than the marijuana, but we shall see. Finally, Terry McLaurin still unhappy with his contract situation. I mean, this is becoming a regular thing each week, week in, week out. I just don't. I believe they're going to get done a contract, but they need to get to pushing a little bit more and more. It's starting to draw out, and we've seen it multiple years that if players are holding out and not playing because of a contract, the first few weeks they do tend to suck and get, they want to get their feet under them before they actually produce numbers. And that might happen this year with Terry McLaurin. If you look, he might even sign midway through his preseason. He's got to show up after that, and he's probably going to take a month just to get his feet wet and be what he was last year. But that is it for news and notes around the league. I'm really looking into diving deep into the draft strategy of best ball. But let's hear a word from the Podfather about FastDraft.
Drafting is the best part of fantasy football, and drafting fast is what FastDraft is all about. FastDraft is the fastest best ball app on the planet. With just 6 rounds and a 20-second time clock, you can draft in under 10 minutes. Don't have 10 minutes? Use turbo mode to create teams with a click of a button. We love volume players, and volume players love FastDraft because we make it exponentially easier to max enter 150 lineups, and if a tournament you love does fill, don't worry, we'll roll out another one the next day because we focus just on the players you care about. In April and May, our Origins tournaments are rookie only because the NFL Draft is the second most popular event in American sports after the Super Bowl. FastDraft tracks player ownership in real time, so you can always see your exposure at a glance in the draft room, and there's no position restrictions. And the best part of that is you never have to draft a tight end. With only 60 players drafted, there are two key ways to get unique. You draft players well above or below ADP, or shake up your boosters. The boosters let you set 4 players with point multipliers up to 2x, so you can improve your chances of being unique by putting premiums on later round picks. Okay, that's what FastDraft's all about. Now start your engines.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't know, here, FastDraft, we just launched the Rabbit. It is a 15-round best ball. So, I mean, I'm talking about best ball right now. I'm going to jump into one right after I do the whole show. I am also pre-recording, but don't worry. After the show, I will be in a best ball, the Rabbit on FastDraft. And guess what? Right now, use promo code Lewis, LEWIS, and you get dollar for dollar match up to $50. So it's basically put $50 in and you get 50 free for your first deposit. Take advantage of it. Again, that's promo code Lewis, LEWIS. And I mean, hell, you'll face me in one of the best ball tournaments, the Rabbit. So first, what is best ball? Hopefully we know, but for some, they don't know what best ball is. It is a fantasy football format where you draft your team once, and then the platform automatically sets your optimal starting lineup every week, meaning whoever scores the most points in a single position goes into your lineup. Say you have Joe Burrow and Jordan Love. Say Joe Burrow scored 14 and Jordan Love scored 21. Yeah, Jordan Love was drafted after Joe Burrow, but guess what? That 21 point goes into your starting spot for your quarterback. And then so on. You know, if you had like Bijan Robinson and Kyron Williams and let's just say Ray Davis. Ray Davis goes off this week for 33 points. Well, he's probably going to be in your starting lineup, but it just goes by highest points into your starting lineup. There's no trades, no waivers, no weekly lineup decisions. You just draft and just sit back and watch. And hopefully you drafted right. But rule number one, that is what best ball is. So, but rule number one, know your format. I'll be using FastDraft, the Rabbit format for this example. It is a 15-round draft. You start 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running back, 1 tight end, and 2 flex. The flex is a running back, wide receiver, or tight end, whichever. Rule number 2, figure out the optimal roster construction. You have 15 rounds. So you want to figure out how many of each position you should stack on your team. At quarterback, I'd say 2 to 3. If you get 2 of the most promising quarterbacks, sure, you could probably slide out with that. I mean, you could always draft 1 top tier and then a couple late rounds. Running back, 4 to 5 running backs. Wide receivers, 6 to 7. And tight ends, 2, maybe 3. More wide receivers equal more flex ceilings. Just a heads up. 2 quarterbacks to ensure coverage, ideally with a spike week upside. Like, I think week 17, I mean, we didn't expect, no one's going to go out and draft Drew Lock, but he finishes quarterback 3 of the week. in championship week, that would have been awesome. But at the same time, we got to think, we want to fill those bye weeks. Also, we want to make sure that we are getting spike weeks from players. 2 tight ends, enough for a bye week and potential blow-ups. That is some strategy right there. If you take a tight end, just take a peek. Make sure you don't have the same bye week as well. So that will hurt you that week because it's already putting you behind the 8 ball because you're going to be without a roster spot. That's highly, look into it. And don't hoarder RBs unless if you just decide to punt everywhere else. I mean, you could take a late round flyers, sure, absolutely. But you don't want to take 8 running backs overall in a 15 round mock or 15 round best ball draft. Rule number 3, draft a plan. Make a plan by round. So, for example, rounds 1 through 3, anchor your core. Prioritize elite skilled position players, especially wide receiver or running back. 1 running back plus 2 wide receivers, or 2 wide receivers plus 1 running back. It said the same thing. Or 2 running backs and 1 wide receiver is ideal. My tip would be at least get 1 set and forget wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. It automatically helps you be better than the rest. Unless if I could stack a couple of elite running backs, I really like doing 2 wide receivers and 1 running back in the first 3 rounds. That's just myself. Rounds 4 through 6, stack upside targets, breakouts. Start building stacks if possible with a quarterback that is actually high tier. So say you draft Jamar Chase. It might be a good idea to draft Joe Burrow as well. So you have that pairing. Because if you did that last year, you found yourself probably very high ranked. Even then, you still have not much high upside for wide receivers for the Buffalo Bills, but you do have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Possibly pair those with Jalen Hurts. You get the rushing upside, but you also get the passing potential. Add a second running back and your third wide receiver, or take a first tight end if it's top tier, if that's how it falls. I would literally probably think my tier break has to be number 1, obviously, for me is Trey McBride. Number 2 is Brock Bowers. And I think I would slide. I'd wait. If I don't get one of those 2 players, I think I would be holding off and waiting. Tip for these 3 rounds from 4 through 6, look for high volume running backs or wide receivers on ascending offenses. So you're looking for upside, possibly James Conner, for example. Yeah, he's going to get a whole bunch of rushing attempts, and the volume is going to be there. Perhaps even Zay Flowers, he's going to probably be the only go-to target in this offense of the Baltimore Ravens. So you're getting high volume. Spike weeks are going to happen. Rounds 7 through 9, fill flex. Take your first quarterback. That's usually what I start to do. Now is a good time to grab a stacking quarterback and one with weekly upside. So suggestion for me would be like possibly Dak Prescott. If you had CeeDee Lamb, I really like Dak Prescott this year. I mean, hell, you got CeeDee Lamb and you got George Pickens. Plus, who's their running back? You're not going to really run that much with this offensive line, I know it's going to be hard to hold up for passing, but you got Jake Ferguson. You got Jalen, or what's Blue. You have him coming out of the backfield. He's more of a pass-catching running back than a rushing running back. Even Javonte Williams was top 5 in targets last year at the running back position. So that's a great stack. Don't take it in the next draft because I probably want Dak Prescott. Tip: if you don't have a stack yet, look for values of wide receiver and quarterback combos, such as probably in the next tier, you could probably get like a Jordan Love and Jaden Reed or Matthew Golden, something along those lines, or even think about if you have St. Brown, almost St. Brown, you could probably draft Jared Goff right here, or Mike Evans. Chris Godwin might be available, but I don't really like taking injured players either, even though they might help you toward the end of the season. I just like building of having those high upside right away. Rounds 10 through 12, build spike week depth. Fill out the flex pool with boom or bust players. My tip for this is prioritize wide receivers with downfield roles or running back handcuffs with high upside. I mean, if you get, last year, Rashid Shaheed, if you would have took him right around here, if he would have been healthy the whole year, I think he would have blew up. It's just hard to see now because he didn't play at the end of the season. Rounds 13 through 15, backup quarterback, tight end, late win lottery tickets. Like, you want to fill these with high upside players. I mean, you could take 2 quarterbacks and 1 tight end right here as well after already drafting a tight end. So you would have been your number 2. So you would have 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. Don't waste these picks on floor players. You need spike weeks. Those are just round by round, but some other rules to keep in mind. Stack your players, like I said. Stack your quarterback with a wide receiver. Even a pass-catching running back will help. Jared Goff would be amazing with Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe even St. Brown on the same team. Like, you're taking a high-profile offense and just throwing all your eggs in it. The Bengals, their defense sucks. They didn't really get much better. They haven't even signed their first-round draft pick of a defense player. Chase Brown, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, one of those guys. You're going to have a lot of success in that offense, and they're going to have to put up 30 points per week just to get high volume. And that brings me to the next one. Draft for best ball value. Wide receivers with high volatility. RBs, handcuffs with big ceilings, like Tajay Spears. I love handcuffing him and getting him. I don't think Tony Pollard will play the whole season. We seen toward the end of the season last year that Tajay Spears gave us league-winning weeks if you had him in the playoffs. Late round quarterbacks or tight ends who can spike. Wait on quarterbacks and tight ends. Don't miss their run, though. Unless if you have elite options like Hurts, Daniels, Josh Allen, wait and stack. Double or even triple up with players like Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, and on the cover of the thumbnail, Juwan Jennings. That sounds pretty amazing. Or even Ricky Pearsall. Ooh. And Dak Prescott with, like I said, even if you don't have CeeDee Lamb, guess what? He has a new weapon in town, and his name is George Pickens. And you got Jaden Blue coming out of the backfield. He could have a couple dump off passes. I really loved Dak Prescott this year, just like Brock Purdy and Jordan Love. Those three, if you had them on your team, one of those guys each week should boom. Embrace uncertainty. Best ball rewards surprise breakouts. I mean, each year we see it. Draft rookies also, unknown late. Don't be afraid to take a big swing. I mean, I could tell you last year for sure, like Bucky Irving. Who the hell would thought he was going to be RB13 last year? Not me, but you took that swing and you did well with those swings. Also think, can this guy score 25 points a couple times this year? Juwan Jennings. I think so. Yeah. I could definitely see it with Brandon Ayuk recovering. You figure George Kittle probably will miss 1 to 2 games because it's every year he's always missing something for the 49ers. So I could definitely see that happening. But like last year, I mean, just listen to this list. Baker Mayfield finished as quarterback 4. Not really being targeted. I mean, I got him in redrafts. Yes, it's redrafts off free agency. In best ball, he probably was going 12th, 13th, 14th, maybe 15th round. And he finishes quarterback 4. Another one, Sam Darnold. Take a big swing on him. He finished as quarterback 9 last year. Did you really draft him? I bet you he probably was undrafted in majority of best balls. Bucky Irving, I already said, as running back 4 or 13. Chuba Hubbard, another guy. A lot of people were in love with Jonathan Brooks because he was the first running back off the board, blah, blah, blah. He was also coming back from ACL surgery, and we've heard it all the time. Oh, he's ahead of schedule. He's ahead of schedule. Screw that head of schedule, because that's what's going to happen with guys like Brandon Ayuk, Chris Godwin. No, stop. Stop. I would rather, much rather have Emeka Egbuka in the 13th, 14th round than Chris Godwin in, what is he going, 6th, 7th, 8th round? No, thank you, because he's going to miss the first few games, and they're not going to have to rush him back. And Emeka Egbuka could give you big boom weeks, because we all know that Mike Evans is going to hurt his hamstring. He's going to be out for 4 games this year. It just happens each and every year. Another rookie last year, Brian Thomas Jr., finished as wide receiver 4. Did we see that coming? No, because a lot of people actually pass him on rookie drafts. They were afraid to have him on the team. Guess what? He rewarded you with big boom weeks. Jackson Smith-Njigba. He scared a lot of people after his rookie season. Finished as wide receiver 10. And I talked about him earlier. Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver 11, finished last year. A lot of people, again, were afraid of him because you had Deshaun Watson as your quarterback. But he finished as wide receiver 11 with Jameson Williams. And a couple for tight end, Jonnu Smith. Never finished ahead of 6 or tight end 16. Did you draft him? Hopefully you did. I got him a lot of best balls last year in the last round, and he rewarded me with tight end 4 finishes. Zach Ertz, tight end 8 finished last year. Again, it just overall just keeps on finding values late in drafts. Don't be afraid to take the big swing. Also, use ADP to your advantage. If you really like a guy and you don't think he's going to be there, go ahead and take him. If not, wait another round. I mean, even on FastDraft, it has where they are projected and what number overall the pick is. It's a great app. I love it. I'm going to join it here after I get done with this show. But just select those guys with confidence, take big swings. You got to have nuts. You got to have the cojones. You know, a lot of these guys like Baker, Sam Darnold, Bucky Irving, all these guys. Did you have big cojones to take some of these guys? Sure, a couple, maybe one, maybe two last year. But that's where you're going to find value is late in the drafts. So be sure to do your research. Also, you could do mock drafts on FastDraft. Go ahead and check it out. Get prepped. Get ready for it. And then join. And the final rule I'm going to have is just to have fun. Have fun. Best ball, you only have to draft, and you get rid of the whole set your lineups every day, every week, whatever. Have fun. You draft once, and then you just sit back and relax and look at it. I love it. Go ahead and draft. And also, again, download FastDraft. Use promo code Lewis, LEWIS, for a $1 match up to $50 on your first deposit. And after this, join FastDraft, the Rabbit, and you'll be competing against me. But that is a wrap of today's show of Player Profiler News Primetime. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to follow, like, subscribe. We got expert analysis and tips throughout the whole week. Remember to follow myself on Twitter at Louis Lewis 5. That's LEWY LEWIS and the number 5. Also, I have my own podcast called Fantasy Endzone. Give it a listen. You can get it wherever you get your podcast from. And guess what? I'll see you fantasy gamers next week. Till then, peace out.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.